Richards. Well, we can see his teammate further back there, Gary Mason, but Richards didn't make it. Crockford immediately coming under pressure from Pete Jennings. Jenno leaning on the outside of John Crockford as they're coming round into the first chicane. Scott, David Jeffries has got through, and it looks like he's going to squeeze through, or try to squeeze through into third place. But I think this battle is going to be mainly about Jeffries and Crockford out there in the lead, because they're both fighting it out, that they're quite close to the championship for second place overall. Paul Young's going to probably be quite careful and just try and get safe all the points. We can see Paul Young there back down the field. He's in 7th or 8th place as they are coming round. Not what Youngie wanted at all. He could wrap up the championship here. All he has to do is finish 4th or higher, and the crown will be his, irrespective of what the leading man, Jamie Morley, does, or the man who's just taken 3rd place, has he? Yes, he has. On the yellow and red B&M Yamaha, the big bat there going through your screen, that big man, David Jeffries. Well, it's a lot bigger than the rest of the boys out there, isn't he? And is that a problem around here, Scott?
Not a big problem. He's got to haul that bike around, and he's got enough brute force to do it. It's quite tight around here, but we've seen he's normally pretty good in these wet conditions. Oh, and he looked like Crockford ran wide, so Pete Jennings moves through into the lead.
Yeah, Crockford, big mistake there as he was coming into the first part of turn 7. Couldn't hold it on the brakes, had to run wide. Left enough room for Pete Jennings to come through, but of course that's forced him back into the collision. Big accident there. That looked like Glenn Richards just going away, so maybe he did make it from the start of pit lane. But we got fallers all over the place, Scott. Well,
Chris Miller and Kevin Falk have both gone down.
Oh, Kevin Falk, he hasn't had the best of the season so far as he has dropped it a couple of times, but these conditions very tricky. You can see there Chris Miller as well. These conditions very, very tricky.
That's the problem with this circuit. We're funneling down into really tight chicanes the whole time, and there simply isn't any room.
Oh, well, there we go. Well, dear oh me. That looked like Chris Miller started all that. Kevin Falk luckily managed to stay out the way.
Fortunately, nobody hurt.
Glenn Richards has run off the track somewhere. There isn't a lot of dirt on that side of that bike. We'll see now on the replay. Here he comes, into one of the slow rights. Well, your thoughts on that, Scott?
That looks into the hairpin. Looks like he might have actually just caught his knee on the curb. So not a particularly lucky day for him. And I think he started out the pit lane anyway, so he had a lot of work to do.
Yeah, Glenn Richards really suffering there. He had qualified in 3rd place. It was a very good 3rd place for Glenn. Currently down the order in the championship, somewhat low, 12 points behind Jamie Morley. And Jamie Morley in 4th place, looking like a class act. Here comes Youngie, chasing his way up through the field. Well, hold on to your hats, because if Youngie's got the bit between his teeth, then these gaggle of riders in front of him are going to feel the heat soon. Oh, bit of a moment there for Pete Jennings. Dave Jeffries sees his moment, looks up the inside. Can he do it this time? We've seen him try before. No, he's still having to sit there and say, well, I said he's having to sit there and
Jennings is just fantastic into that corner. Phil Giles has found a second win again. He hadn't made any inroads to that leading group for a few laps, and all of a sudden he's there, so he's going to be a race winning contender as well.
Jamie Morley up the inside. David Jeffries going into slow turn. He was a little bit wide. He had taken 2nd. Well, he's now back in 3rd. 2 changes of position in 2 corners.
And it's really tight through there, so that was pretty impressive riding.
Big moment out to see there for DJ. He's trying to get on very hard. You can still see the rain falling. You still see the drops on our camera lenses. Jamie Morley now, you get the impression he's getting impatient now, seeing where he is. He'll know that Phil Giles is breathing down his neck. That's Jamie Morley there on the number 32 MSS Performance Suzuki GSX-R 1000. DJ looks around the outside again. We've seen him try this time and time before. Not to be, Jenno is absolutely phenomenal on the brakes going into that turn there. Jamie Morley now, that watchful 3rd DJ, obviously getting impatient, obviously knows that Jamie Morley is closing right up on him.
Yeah, Phil Giles is the man on the mission here, and nobody knows he's there, because their pit bulls wouldn't have been telling him from the lap before, when he was about a second behind them all. He's the first person to break into the 19s, so he's got the pace to win the race.
Could Phil Giles be the cat among the pigeons here in the Superstock class? Well, he would be a brave man if you bet against him. When you look at those eyes through the visors, Scott, clear visors, you can see every expression, love expressions out there, none less than 10 Jeffries, who I thought for 1 second was going to take the lead. Every lap seems to be getting the same judge rehearsal off the big man on the V&M Yamaha, the number 1 Yamaha. You can see him there, focus on the back of leader number 15. First man in your picture then, Pete Jennings.
Phil Giles
up to 3rd, absolutely brilliant, Scott, exactly how you called it. Well, move over DJ. Giles is on the move.
This might be what DJ needs though, because if Phil Giles gets in front of him and then forces his way past Jennings, it might open the door big enough for DJ to also squeeze past Pete Jennings. But DJ's taking real square lines into the corners to try and get better drive.
Oh, Phil Giles looking at the inside. Has he done it? Yes, fantastic move. Fantastic move there from the former Factory 500. GP man, oh, DJ leaning on him as well. Well, DJ shaking his head, he doesn't like that, does he? But still managed to regain 2nd place. I think Phil Giles made more of a mistake than DJ gained there. Morley up to 3rd. Scott, pass me some water, because this is far from over.
Yeah, DJ now has been given a warning that he knows there are people breathing down his neck and saying he really needs to do something soon.
Oh, what can you say, Jamie Morley up to 2nd, chopping around on the inside. Absolutely brilliant. Right, scrapping between themselves for second place. Phil Giles now muscling through on DJ. DJ getting mugged over the past couple of corners for sure. Phil Giles now looks at this on Jamie Wall. If he makes his move, it will be nothing short of phenomenal. If he holds it off, because that will be going up 3 places. I'm sure he touched his knee there. He got the weight up on that camera angle, and he does well. Absolutely incredible stuff. As you quite rightly said, Scott, Phil Giles, a man on a mission, setting fastest lap after fastest lap, and now reaping the benefits, chasing after Pete Jennings.
Yeah, I really think Jamie Morley's getting more and more confident as well, though. He's starting to make real hard passes on each of the other riders out there. So this Suzuki Freight Train match front could be anybody's race. Phil Giles obviously made his way through into the lead in the chicane, and they got really sideways on the start-finish straight, so Phil Giles hits the front at last.
Right, now we'll see how fast this man can go with that. In the traffic in front of him, now the traffic holding him up. Phil Giles, head down, under the bubble, bike shaking. You see there on the replay, oh dear, how did he keep his feet on the pegs? How did he keep his hands on the handlebars? A little more luck than judgment probably, but Phil Giles is riding the only way he knows how in this race. Pin the throttle wide open, till on, and if anything like that happens, well Scott, you are just a passenger.
Chris Burns has moved through in front of Youngie now as well, so Burns is up into 6th and Paul Young's moved down into 7th place.
Oh, he's gone across the yellow line, Scott, but as we said before, if you do that, there will be a 10-second penalty incurred on you. Now, the race officials will be looking at this, and they will discover, or they will determine rather, whether he did it on purpose or whether it was an unavoidable error.
To be absolutely honest, if that had been grass there, he'd have used it as well. He was accelerating as hard as he could, and it was just sliding, so a bit of a mistake by him.
Jamie Morley in the lead. Well, he took advantage of that from Phil Giles. Will Phil Giles have that 10-second penalty? We won't wait and see. But Jamie Morley, this is where we said he was faster than Phil Giles. It was clear to see he was taking out so much distance from Phil Giles on the Pidcock Suzuki, and now he's away at the front. Scott, what do you reckon we'll see from Jamie?
Well, Jamie needs to know pretty soon. Well, the organisers haven't put anything up on the timing screens as to whether or not there's going to be a penalty. Both of these riders deserve to get podium positions.
Absolutely. Why would he get a penalty? Well, that yellow line is there to basically keep the riders away from the concrete wall which surrounds the vast oval part of this circuit. The cars that come in, the NASCAR, the IndyCar, they're okay, but the bike riders need to be kept away from it. So purely as a safety measure, and you will get penalised if you cross it. We'll wait and see. As soon as we find out, we'll tell you if Phil Giles will have that second place taken off him, because the 10-second penalty will push him well down the field.
This is off the last lap now. You saw how much Phil Giles caught up in that last section, but he can't get past in that tight area of the track. So I think Jamie Morley has definitely got the upper hand now.
The team are telling Giles to use his head. Stay where he is. They'll have seen him cross that yellow line, so they'll be waiting as well to find out whether he will indeed get this penalty. But at the moment, fastest lap, Jamie Morley. That's the penultimate lap, fastest lap. What does it take to do that, Scott?
That is an absolutely phenomenal lap time. He's knocked nearly his second of the previous best lap, which was his own.
Just pull the pin and go for it. Jamie Morley looking like a very class act. Phil Giles, but as you said, we are now past the part of the circuit where Jamie Morley is faster than Phil Giles. From here on in, it's a Giles bet. He can close a lot of gap up. I'm not so sure he'll be able to close that up, Scott. It certainly looks like a large lead. No, Morley's been able to pull away.
Jamie's still quite strong here, but it's as we get into the hairpin that Phil Giles starts to make his ground up. About equal into the hairpin, and then into the final chicane section. That is where Phil is going to make any gains. But I don't think he's going to be strong enough now, because even if he can get there, he's still got to get past.
Yeah, and we just saw the capture there, 44 seconds from this man, Jamie Morley, in 32, to Paul Young, who's way down in 7th place. They're coming in now, it's all over. Father shouting, Jamie Morley, just no problem through 7, no problem through turn 8, just one more turn to go. A quick squirt of the power to cross the line, round the slower rider. My word, that was a bit close around like in here at the end. Just driving out of the turns, across the start-finish line. Good win there, pole position and a win. Missed the 100% here, Jamie Morley for sure.
And another fantastic lap time on the last lap, another one in the 18s.
Well, that, folks, is the best part of it. Full second and a half faster than anybody else out there. In fact, he was 2 seconds ahead of Phil Giles come the end, and that gap was opened up from the beginning of that penultimate lap, which gives you some idea of how good Jamie Morley was around here on the day. Conditions were conducive to good racing. Who cares about the conditions, Scott? We got the racing we expect from the super stocks, even if the normal protagonists, David Jeffries and Paul Young, were further down the field.
Chris Burns had a phenomenal ride in the closing laps of the race. He managed to push his way past David Jeffries as well to take 5th place. John Crawford managed to stay ahead of him and got 4th.
So Paul Young, with David Jeffries finishing down the order, Paul Young is now the champion. The best DJ could hope for was 6th. Paul Young coming through the field from 9th on the grid to finish 7th. It all goes to the Australian on the Essex Performance Suzuki GSXR 1000. Good on you, sport. So the result from the Superstock at Rockingham, round 12 of the championship. Jamie Morley, pole position man, really was untouchable, set some blistering lap times around there to take the win. Phil Giles second, looking like that yellow line infringement will be back to haunt him. Pete Jennings in third, John Crockford finishing fourth, Burns fifth, good ride from Chris Burns there. But further down the field, Andy Tinsley ninth, Steve McMillan 10th, with Gary Mason in 11th from the Sanyo Hondas. What does that mean for the championship? Well, Paul Young on the Suzuki is crowned British Superstock champion. On the Essex Performance GSXR 1,211 points. Dave Jeffries finishing down the order in that race and couldn't close the gap at the next round. The final round of Donington Park, he's on 174 on the B&N Yamaha. John Crockford is third with 164 with Jamie Morley. 146 on his bike after this race. Brilliant stuff there from Paul Young. Championship's his.
Paul Young, not the position he wanted to finish the race in, but mission accomplished as far as the championship's concerned.
No, that's exactly where I wanted to finish, where I needed to finish. I'm not too disappointed. I know I rode as hard as I could. I was pretty sideways out there, and I couldn't have finished any further up the grid, even if I wanted to win and didn't have a championship to win.
Conditions very difficult out there, what with the wet track and of course the wind, which came today.
Yeah, it was hard to know what was making the front move, or the wet front on a drying track, or the wind catching the wheel. A bit of both. It was quite treacherous, really.
Congratulations, Paul, well done.
It was all action from the start of the British Superstock race. Glenn Richards didn't make the start. Mechanical failures putting him into pit lane. He would have to join the race from the back of the grid. John Crockford making an early running there. You can see how treacherous conditions were. We had all sorts of fallers going down. A flight of riders coming off in the early stages. Chris Miller there. This, however, was Glenn Richards. Fell off on the slow right-hand turn when his knee dug into the ground. We later found out that he was running a front sling and the problems would continue, but up front Pete Jennings really running away with it. But Dave Jeffries had to get up close and personal. Very physical there with John Crockford. DJ closing, but pole position man Jamie Morley would have backed down for 1 second, making some audacious moves on the brakes, only for DJ to chop back across him. Up front though soon was Phil Giles, the man getting aggressive with Jamie Morley, the pole position guy. Giles was not about to back down until this moment when you see him cross that yellow line. That's a 10-second penalty usually, but it looked like he got away with it for a while. Jamie Morley crossing the line for a brilliant win at the end of the day. The Superstock victory going to the pole position man Jamie Morley on the MSS Performance Suzuki. That man there though, Paul Young, finished the day champion, 7th place good enough to hand him the crown. So the podium for the Superstock Championship race that's just happened here at Rockingham sees Jamie Morley on top, Phil Giles there getting garland and a trophy. A bit of a kiss there for Phil Plater from Dunlop 2. Well, there was a Dunlop 1, 2, 3. Jamie Morley getting his trophy as well. But the championship went to Paul Young at the end of the day, finishing down the order but doing just enough to make sure he took the crown. Brilliant ride there from Jamie Morley, pole position man, had to settle down, fought his way back through the field to take the top standing here at Rockingham. The champagne flowing, stay with us because we're going to go for a break. When we come back, we'll bring you all the action from the British Superbikes Race 2. Today is actually, although